The other day, Woodswalker version 1.1.1 released, and as the skill issue update, among other things, it slightly reduced the game's overall difficulty. Now, I do have to say, this game is still difficult, so as the creator of the game, I wanted to release some tips and tricks to help you get the 3 stars down at the bottom, which I actually do not have on the save file. Let me just quickly Photoshop that in so I look like I'm good at my own game. Now, there are 2 major parts of the game loop that you need to be aware of. The first is you will continuously, over the course of the night, receive messages on your fax machine and answering machine. These messages will have both the actual text of the message and the location of the message. Your job is to read the messages, determine if they actually need your lights turned on, and if so, head over to the map, turn on the lights, and congratulations, that's the first part of the game loop done. The second part is that periodically, throughout the night, a little spooky noise there, you are going to have to defend yourself from the monster that is pursuing you. So you have to exit, turn to your light tower here, and then you'll be able to control the lights, and you need to find the monster and scare him off. Pretty simple. Now, the first tip I have, and this is one that is said to you directly in the game, is you need to be cautious about which lights you're actually turning on. So let's say you get a message that's like, "Oh no, it's right there, I can see it, the monster!" You probably need to turn that on. And if you get one that's like, "Oh yeah, can I get a pizza?" You probably don't need to turn that one on. So, obviously there's a bit more nuance in some cases to that one, but in general, the issue comes where you get a couple of these messages, and the ones that are correct, the ones that actually need to be turned on, once the event is processed, it will turn itself off automatically. So that way you know it's correct and you get to go about turning on other lights. However, you might get in a situation where you incorrectly identify the message as needing the light, you turn it on, and the issue is the game will never turn this light off. So you're going to go about your business, you're going to be turning on other lights, and the issue comes across where usually you won't need to have more than 3 lights on at once, and if you do, it's never more than a couple seconds. So if you come to this, you may be faced with this screen, and if you know that you need to turn on this light, well crap, now you gotta turn off one of these lights, and you may not remember what the message from the location was, so you kinda have a guessing game, and things may go south. Now, my second tip, which is for the monster, is please, for the love of God, you should be playing this game with headphones. It does say this at the beginning, but just in case you skip ahead, you don't read those things at the beginning, please play this game with headphones and make sure that they are stereo, meaning you will hear things in one side and other things in the other. This is because when the tree does spawn and it is going to be coming after you, you need to know kind of where it's coming from. Now, this game does have a lot of different sounds, but in specific, when the tree spawns, you will hear a sort of a rustling in the brush. I'm going to be quiet so that you can kind of hear it when it comes up. Right there, it was pretty quiet, but sometimes it'll be a little quieter, sometimes it'll be a little louder. When you hear that sound, it is best to sort of kind of turn your head a little bit so you can get a sense of where the sound is. The reason being is this light up here moves really slow, so if you can't really find it, you're going to be spinning all the way around, and this is going to take a lot of time, and there's a good chance that you're going to die or you're going to lose a lot of your lights. So really, you need to be paying attention to the sound of where this guy is coming. Genuinely, if I could give one tip for beating this game, that would be my number 1 tip, is listen to your sound clues, listen to where it's spawning. Another slight tip is when the monster spawns, it will make a little bit of a quiet sound, a little bit of that rustling sound in the bushes, but then a little bit later, even if you do miss the sound because maybe there's another sound effect playing or maybe the phone's going off, it will give you a warning before it is about to attack, and this will be significantly louder than the first time it makes the sound, and that's warning you that you need to get out, you need to be paying attention to where it is, and you need to get it quick because it's going to get you soon. Another tip is generally try to deal with your messages, your answering machine calls, and your faxes before you go out and deal with the monster. Try to be more efficient with these, because if you come back, you may have 3 of these waiting in the queue for you to get picking up and dealing with it, and you may be having a very short amount of time to deal with those. So generally, I would say try to stay on top of these before trying to scare the monster off. The monster has pretty lenient timing, at least at the start of the game. Towards the end, it does get a lot quicker. But these are going to be coming in constantly. No matter what, these are always going to be coming in the entirety of the game. Like, rapidly, pretty quickly. You're going to keep getting these the entire time. So deal with these first, then go deal with the monster, because if you come back, you got a whole pile. It's a bit of a scramble, and you're going to make mistakes, and that's going to cost you the game. Now, there is a completely optional storyline that you can go through that involves a lot of puzzle solving. I think this is a pretty fun element of the game if you want to go through and discover the lore. If you're big into that side of these types of horror games, then I'm going to leave this pretty open for you. I want you guys to sort of figure it out on your own. I will give you the hint that it does start with this box. If you want to get through everything, this is your place to start. You got to find yourself a code. Like I said, I want to leave you guys to figure this out on your own for now. But if you want me to leave sort of a hints guide or maybe even a solution guide, drop it down in the comments. I am open to reading that and seeing what people think. So I hope this guide was helpful for you. Link in the description to play the game as always. And thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a good day.